Okay, and so we're live here, and let me go ahead and ask we're going to start our Facebook friends and gems here as well. And I might need to move some things over here so that our Facebook friends can also participate and learn from Dr. Ghaly. We're going to do it this way because the other way.
Lillian, how do I look? Can you see me?
You look handsome as usual.
Oh, fine. Thanks a million. And you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Okay, so here we go, our friends and gems from all over the world. I'm so happy and excited. As you guys know, for those of you who tuned in a little bit earlier on Facebook Live, you know that I was starting to tell you about this incredible human being, this incredible gifted healer. Dr. Ghaly started off, like I mentioned before, in anesthesiology many years ago. And then what was it? About 30 years ago, Dr. Ghaly, that you started with regenerative medicine?
Correct.
About 30 years ago. And in the time that I've known him, which has been a little short of 10 years, I have literally seen people flying from all over the world. And for example, that one of the first people I saw was, I'll never forget, Sue Franks, who came in from Australia. And when she came in, she quite literally looked like she was 90 plus years old. She was in a wheelchair. She was all slumped. She could not really speak. She had a lot of muscle paralysis as a result of Lyme disease and many other complications and infections that she had for well over 20 years. And I was in awe 3 days later because I was in his clinic every day. We were working actually on a Lyme documentary, weren't we, Dr. Ghaly?
Yes.
It was incredible. 3 days later, this woman looked like she came out of 24-hour fitness, wearing a black t-shirt and black leggings. And she was happy, she was alert, she was able to speak, her eyes were wide and open, and she felt phenomenal, and she was walking out of her wheelchair. Now, Dr. Ghaly is one of the pioneers in stem cell and actual clinical use of stem cells over many, many different years. And as you know, some of you know, in the United States, there are different forms of stem cell that is not allowed any longer. But he has multiple modalities in regenerative medicine that he employs in his clinic in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Dubai, Qatar, etc. And he does stem cell activation. So today, Dr. Ghaly, I want you to address the issue because we hear this kind of a lot with people who have different type of conditions and their doctors tell them, oh, this is genetic. Sorry, there's no cure for it. There's nothing that can be done. Yada, yada, yada. So Dr. Ghaly, let's dive in deep because a lot of people don't know about how genes can be upregulated and downregulated. So can you address that issue and talk about that and how stem cells play an active role in unringing the bell of whatever it is that's plaguing the person?
The human genome has been identified, like mapped and identified. Different genomic testing is done. And actually, you can suppress a gene or you can activate a gene. And you could have, like, you're born in a certain kind of genetic mapping. Nonetheless, if you suppress a certain activity of a gene, this gene doesn't not express itself. When it doesn't express itself, then that particular disease tied to the genomic defect or abnormality is not expressed. Not expressed means it doesn't kind of present itself in a clinical form. Now, this science is called epigenetics. So there is genetics is your map of the human genome, but there are other things, for example, that we can do, or we can modify the expression of the gene. We can upregulate a certain gene, which is a good gene, or we can downregulate. Downregulate means we suppress its activity, or we kind of nullify it, or kind of keep it at bay without having creating a certain defect or a disease or ill health, and so on and so forth. So now there is not genetic, but there is epigenetic as well. Now, this is a very interesting area because, as you probably know, you could have identical twins and a person live in a different environment. Nonetheless, they have the same human genome map because they're identical twins. One of them develops certain disease, the other doesn't. So what does that kind of boil to, or give us the understanding, is that the environment or the epigenetic changes that kind of got like manifested, it changes the expression of the gene. So I hope I was able to kind of make that graspable and approachable and understandable.
So I love the way that you're expressing that, so that there are genes that have upregulated with an expression or down regulated, which means it's still in the genes, but you're simply turning off the switch, right?
Exactly. So you end up by kind of either suppressing its expression. In other words, we bring it down or down regulate it, and actually preventing it from manifesting certain issues or causing certain sooner or later, as age has a phenomenal pull on our body or our life. And sometimes this particular gene is not expressed at a certain age, but later on it will express itself. So, you don't know.
So let's talk about, you mentioned the word epigenetics. Can you share with our viewers, our watchers, our listener, what is epigenetics?
Well, epigenetic is a new science. The more we know about genetics and the human genome, the more we know how we modify the expression of those genes, or how these genes, I mean, if we use certain modifying factors, we actually can suppress the expression of that, but this is what you call epigenetics. Or if we enhance a certain factor, that will accelerate the expression of that particular and could cause more damage than we had expected. So the epigenetics is the environment, the activities that the person does, what we drink, what we eat, there are multitudes of things that actually play in the epigenetics and supplements and what have you. So epigenetics is a budding science that will actually help us kind of control a lot of genetic factors that we are born with.
So in short, what you're saying, if I understood you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying that there are external environmental factors that affect genetic expression.
Of course.
So you could be born with something, some sort of genetic condition that's not expressing yet. And now you hit whatever age. It could be 15 years of age, 20, 30, 40, 50, it doesn't matter. But prior to that, you didn't have whatever this condition is. But because of environmental factors that are coming from outside, it's turned on, and now you have the symptoms and then eventually the diagnosis. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah, correct.
And just as you change from being healthy to not being healthy because of that genetic expression, you can turn the switch back off, right? You can down-regulate it so it doesn't express, and now you're free from whatever it was that was expressing itself through something like stem cell activation. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you find that turning on and turning off stem cell activation in the person, because we're talking about turning on and off the switches within the person's stem cells that are already in their body, is that a terribly painful process?
Say that question again. What did you say?
Is it a painful process, or is it a painless process to turn on and turn off genetic expression?
No, it's not painful at all. As a matter of fact, it's useful. It's beneficial for our being.
Yeah. It's as simple as applying a mechanical device called a patch, right? To redirect the body's inner light. So,
Right.
so let's talk also about other things that people can do that would be of great benefit. I know that I've been one of the great benefits that I've received from you is a Myers cocktail. I talk ad nauseum about this all the time. And recently I had to get not just an occasional Myers cocktail, but I needed to come in 2 to 3 times a week because I had a very violent allergic reaction to a piece of beef that had been injected penicillin, and I'm highly allergic to penicillin. And so my body, had I not been on the stem cell activation patches, I think you and I both agree I probably would have gone into anaphylactic shock. It's a
Well,
it's a
body-
probability.
your body basically was on fire. I mean, you were blotches all over, and almost, throughout your. I mean, the skin is the largest organ of the body, and it was kind of all over you. It was very painful and
But
irritating. You were unable to sleep, I recall, and it wasn't really a pretty picture. And thank God. Well, the Myers cocktail, they call it a cocktail because it's a mixture of things. So basically, we're addressing the micronutrients of your your cellular function, that we put your nutrition directly into the cellular matrix, uh, and within your serum and the plasma that goes and supply nourishment to all your cellular on a cellular level. And as a result of that, you improve so fast. We're not waiting for a pill or for medication or for a meal or this or that. No, it's an immediate thing. And as a result of that, patients, it's like an intensive therapy, immediate results that you receive. And every time we did that, you definitely gave you comfort and relief, and you're able to improve every day. Every time we did it, you kept on improving, and I could see the improvement until now. Thank God, you are
clear.
totally
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, I'm
Exactly.
totally clear. So
And
let's talk
yeah,
about what's in the Myers cocktail, because a lot of people don't know what's in a Myers cocktail. Can you share with people what are the nutrients in a Myers cocktail?
well, it has a high uh, dose of vitamin C. Now, vitamin C, you can take it orally, but it's limited. If you increase your dose of vitamin C greater than 2 grams a day, you get irritable bowel, you get diarrhea, you lose the vitamin C, you cannot absorb it, etc., etc. Vitamin C is a great antioxidant. Vitamin C does phenomenal benefits for the human body. As a matter of fact, it has been researched in many universities, and now there are centers, and they have applied for FDA approval to be used to slow the growth of cancer, which is very interesting in large doses. So vitamin C is an important vitamin, but when we give it intravenously, we give, say, 5 grams, 10 grams. In your case, I was giving you 10 grams in a 500 ml of solution, and that didn't give you any side effects of diarrhea. Why is that? Because it goes directly into your cellular matrix and supply as an antioxidant, and it does the function. So it has vitamin C, it has vitamin B complex, like all the B complex together, all together, and then it has a B12, which is, we call it methylcobalamin, and then it has zinc, it has cobalt, it has magnesium, manganese, potassium, calcium. So all the micronutrients that are uh, uh, elect- elect- electrolytes that are essential, and trace minerals that is needed for our what you call enzymatic action, because all these minerals are coenzymes or an assistant to an enzyme function. And this way, it addresses the cellular function.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think something that people may not be thinking about is that you're taking, because a lot of people take supplements. However, the supplements are only going to help you to the degree, the benefit will only be received to the degree that you can digest, absorb, and methylate.
And tolerate, right.
So I want to show just real quickly here. These are the vitamins. This is just not a complete list, but some of the things that you'll find in a Myers cocktail. I would encourage you all who are watching this broadcast to go onto Google, just Google Myers cocktail, and you'll see what the ingredients are. And of course, there's also trace minerals.
MYERS, Myers cocktail.
Myers cocktail. And so one of the beauties of taking an intravenous Myers cocktail is that it doesn't have to go through your digestive system. So even if your digestion isn't on par, it doesn't matter, because now it's going intravenously into the vein, into your bloodstream, so that it can go penetrate and be absorbed into all the tissues of the body. Is that correct, Dr. Ghaly?
That's absolutely correct. You said it perfectly.
Actually, fantastic, fantastic. So this is something that I find that is beneficial, not just for people who are already healthy, but anyone with any kind of a health challenge. This is something that you might want to look into and maybe consider having once, depending on the gravity. Like in my situation, I had an advanced allergic reaction. Literally, my scalp was on fire, all my lymph system, all around my neck, my armpits, my groin, all over my torso. It was literally bright red. Dr. Ghaly saw it. It really was horrifying. And it was very sensitive, very painful. It was a kind of a miserable state of being. I was very fortunate that my airways did not close up. But I recognized, it's like, you know what, my body needs extra help detoxing from this penicillin that should have never gone into my body. And so the Myers cocktail started to fertilize my tissues and help with that detoxification process. Can you speak a little bit more to that? Because lots of people have allergic reactions, and it could be an allergic reaction, or it could be exposure to something else, some sort of other toxin that's burdening people's immune system. And it's the same thing. Your immune system, this is above the pay grade of your kidneys and your liver. You can't urinate it and defecate it out. So it's going out through your third kidney, through your skin. Is that not right?
That's correct. And not only this, but Myers cocktail can be used as a preventive rather than that you're treating something. And it is good for receiving it once a month or twice a month or so, just on a preventive level. But at the same time, say, for example, somebody has heavy metal toxicity. So what do we do to protect the kidney, for example? We give them a large dose of vitamin C, but on top of the vitamin C, we add the magnesium, the manganese, the cobalt, the zinc, all these things that are trace minerals to help to defray. The word defray means kind of block or change the harmful effect of heavy metal toxicity. Like, for example, if you have high lead, or if you have high mercury, if you have had filling, tooth filling they used lead in the filling. And with the dentist, they always ask you to go remove that. They always ask you to go and seek to get a high dose of vitamin C. So vitamin C will protect your kidney, protect your liver, protect your toxicity of a lot of other toxic substances, and to keep your cellular health. So that is why Myers cocktail. And Dr. Myers was a professor at Johns Hopkins when he put it together way back in the 60s or 50s. So in other words, this is not a kind of fly by night, so to speak. It is documented, and it is written in the literature. So you can actually Google it and see how it works.
So I love what you just shared here because I think it's so important for people to realize and recognize and begin to understand and comprehend. Because when you can understand what the benefit is to you, then you can ascribe a meaning and you can get a greater benefit because now you're encouraged to do it more often. So you talked about dental fillings and how many people have, those metal fillings in their mouth, and you're unaware how those are neurotoxic in nature. And so many people over the years, we hear of people who remove their, metal fillings and they go to a porcelain amalgam, which is much better for you. But those do cause issues to the body, like Dr. Ghaly said, mercury, and you also have aluminum, which is a known neurotoxin.
Lead as well, lead.
And lead that's also in there. Sometimes unbeknownst to you, you think that, your teeth have nothing to do with whatever conditions you have in your body. And sometimes think about it, it's right inside your head, right next to the brain. And the mercury that they use and the lead that they use in those fillings, they cross the blood-brain barrier. In fact, I just recently saw and read that there was a German study that they did on women who had, unfortunately, their babies were born and the babies did not survive. And when they went to go do autopsies, this German study showed that the brains of these newborn babies who passed away, they actually had high degrees of mercury, aluminum, and lead in the brain. It had affected, the mother's fillings had actually affected those babies. And in some cases, this German study went back and showed that it wasn't just the mother, it also came from the grandmother. And I thought, oh my gosh, very few people know about this. Can you speak a little bit more on that?
Well, I'm not familiar with that, but it is possibility, and I can see why. But if it goes from one generation into the other, that means that the mother had inherited, or she had received, or she got some of the load from her mother, which is the grandmother. So, in other words, there are kind of generational transmission of, say a woman that is pregnant and she has high dose of heavy metals and heavy metal toxicity. I would can appreciate the fact that she could be carrying that onto her baby through the placenta, and the baby could be affected, of course. Let me tell you, the high lead children always have diminished mental ability, and they're kind of have a disadvantage because they're born that way. So high lead or high mercury in one's body, it actually get transmitted to, and of course, a pregnant female woman. So she carries that through her blood, through the placenta into the child.
So one of the things that I'm sure a lot of people don't think about on a regular basis, but you and I are both aware of the fact that the human body is very resilient. It has an ability to adapt and to change. And when things that are not good for it are imposed upon the body, then the body screams with alarms of pain, of inflammation, of dysregulation. And just as you have that presentation, you can bring the body back into balance.
Right.
And just as, go ahead.
That's the resilience of the human body, but we are unaware of that resilience. But if we overstress that resilience, then we'll break the camel's back with a straw. You've heard that. Yeah. So in other words, there is resilience, and it is true. The body takes a lot of insult before it start crying, but when it does, it's well manifested.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I doubt that most people think that pain is their friend, but I really believe that the pain is your friend because it's trying to let you know that there's some sort of behavior, some sort of exposure. There's something that you have done, whether you were in awareness or not, that has caused you some sort of harm. And you have to curb your behavior so that you don't continue to inflict more pain and more damage on the body. And so you can unring that bell of damage by stopping whatever behavior that's causing that. And you can restore your body to a younger, healthier state. So, Dr. Ghaly, I've taken more than enough time today, but I know we're going to be doing this series. We look to have you back again, maybe in a day or two. If we're lucky, we'll have you 3 to 5 times a week or more, but we want to share more about this wisdom and about this knowledge, because so many people can benefit from learning how you can get off the pain train, if you will, and you can restore your body. And we've seen so many people that under your health care and under your advisement, like myself, I've been a tremendous benefactor of great things as a result of being under your care. And I'm so happy and excited now that we're partners moving forward with stem cell activation. So if you want to get a hold of Dr. Ghaly, would you share your office number so that people can reach you both through WhatsApp, because I know a lot of people are watching internationally. What is your number so that they can reach you?
My number here at the office is area code 310-540-0300. And my WhatsApp number is +1, of course, and then 310-871-8726.
Okay, we'll be sure to put this both on Facebook as well as YouTube Live. Feel free to reach out to Dr. Ghaly. He is everyone who's ever been treated by Dr. Ghaly. He's actually the only doctor I know that actually will dance with his patients in the lobby of his clinic, especially those who weren't able to walk before and now they're able to walk. It's a beautiful thing to see and to witness. He really is a doctor who cares, and he loves and adores every single one of his patients, men, women alike. They come from close and from afar. And we absolutely love and adore you, Dr. Ghaly. Thank you for all your time and effort today. We will let people connect with you both on Facebook as well as the other social media platforms, and definitely put your number there. Don't hesitate. He is more than happy to speak with you about the best course of treatment for you. Okay, my friends and gems, ciao for now.
Ciao.